Blake and I just completed a Justin Jefferson trade in one of our dynasty leagues. So stay tuned and find out how those negotiations went down.
All right, welcome in. We got, I think, a really interesting topic here, or whatever, video. I don't know, Dan, have you ever seen anyone do live trade negotiations before?
I think I've seen it a little bit, just kind of like spontaneously, but I've never really seen it as like a dedicated, intentional episode. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
doing that. I think that'll be fun.
yeah. I think we're in two leagues together. We're in a startup together
Yeah,
too.
so
Kind of hard to
three
make a
leagues,
trade.
and then also we're co-managing a league. So I guess we're in four leagues together.
Yeah,
Three as separate teams, and then one team we're co-managing.
yeah. We'll have to consider shooting out some offers, like maybe for another video, like with our co-manager team,
Oh yeah,
to other managers.
for sure.
But basically, yeah, we're gonna try to, in our two leagues that's it's possible to. We'll try to make a trade. We've made. Well, yeah. Again, I'll probably be for another video. I don't know if we'll tap it. We've made a lot of trades, specifically in one league, and a couple in another, and we basically sit at different ends. Actually, no, we don't sit at different ends of the spectrum now. Um, that's a lot has changed. So
Yeah,
maybe we'll dive into it and give some context to that. Dan, let's see your team in Grease Bowl, um, and specifically, my target is going to be Justin Jefferson.
yeah. For context, the league is 12 teams, start 10, PPR. As I said, tight end premium, 1.5 PPR for tight ends, super flex. And so, yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure out what to do with this team here. I think it's kind of the team's a little mid right now, so I'm kind of trying to figure out whether I'm going to contend or rebuild. I think I'm kind of leaning towards sort of like a house money approach where I go into the season competing, seeing what happens early on, and maybe depending on that, I decide to either go in one direction or another, contend or rebuild.
Leagues probably have a super team, and half of them just don't really have like a team really in command.
Hmm.
I took a productive struggle approach, got the 102 barely in the final week, and made a ton of moves since the season. We are now sitting pretty. This is probably better, but yeah, I mean it's easily the best roster. Um, Obviously, I want to get Jefferson to pair, alongside whoever I don't give up in the trade. Um, are we going to come to a trade? I hope so. I don't know if we're going to be. Like, it's really difficult to trade away Justin Jefferson, and not only that, but it's really difficult to give away. Like with a team like this, I feel really good about I've basically handpicked all these receivers that I have on my team, so it's really hard to part with them. But I'm definitely open to seeing how we can attack this.
Yeah, it's always tough to trade away Justin Jefferson, whether you're contending or rebuilding or somewhere in the middle. Yeah, it's just tough a way to give to give away that premium of an asset, and also find a manager that has enough to give to you, in exchange for Jefferson, and is willing to do that. So it's never an easy thing to do, but yeah, I'm excited to see what we can get going here.
All right, well let's pop up the little trade bar there and dive into how we want to
Yeah,
try and attack this.
sounds good. Okay.
Can figure something out. But yeah, let's take Tyreek out.
All right, we're taking
And
Tyreek out. So we got
here,
Puka and
let me tell
Addison.
you my thoughts on this. And again, I'm a big, like, especially when we're trading assets like this. I don't know how other people think, but like I don't know the startup we're doing. People are not they're not like critical thinkers. They're kind of just throwing picks at you that make no sense, and it's like they're just asking you to just give them free handouts. And again, it's like, and now I'm kind of going into the startup mode. This is how I like to just. It's the only way to really value how you can move around these players, because Justin Jefferson to Puka, like what you could get so much different things for each of those guys.
Mhm.
Basically, with Jefferson being at kind of anywhere to that mid first range, Puka going in that mid second. I think Addison's around a fifth startup. Would you take a fifth startup to go from the mid first to kind of like the mid-second in a startup? Like, would you take that 5th round startup, let's say an early 5th, just being that's kind of around where he's going?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
is that how you like to think about that? That's how I like to think about things.
Yeah,
in terms of trading.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot more experience with startups than I do, so and that is usually a good way to think about trade values when you're trying to make a deal with someone. I should probably think that way more. The only reason that I don't probably is that I don't actually have a ton of experience with startups because I always seem to end up taking over orphans. I mean, I think I've only been in. So I'm in 7 dynasty leagues now. I think only 3 have been startups. So my first league ever was a startup that I did. And then I was in another startup before that. The league eventually crumbled after a couple years. So I've essentially done like 4 real startup drafts with money on the line. Yeah, I mean, if I was in a startup and I received that offer, moving from the mid-first to the mid-second, and you'll throw a startup 5th round pick on top, that's definitely something I would consider. So yeah, I think we're kind of in the ballpark of, something close to a fair offer here.
Yeah, and the reason I bring it up too, just with like the approach that you're taking it to your team. If you were like in a startup, again, like not trying to immediately compete, then obviously if you're sitting, like I'm a big fan of trading back in basically the first like 3 to 4 rounds, because I feel like the difference between a lot of those players is kind of just in a lot of our heads, obviously not Jefferson, but it passed the Jefferson tier. And if you can keep moving back, I feel like you can gain a lot of value. But
and that's honestly probably the thing I'm most looking to do on this roster is just build value. So
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, if you're willing to like overpay for Jefferson slightly, I think we could probably make a deal. You know what I mean? So I would say like right now we're probably like maybe like close to even. So I feel like we just got like a little more to go to like get to a trade that I would realistically consider accepting. Maybe we should start with like, what's the third asset from you that I'm looking to get here? So looking at your quarterbacks here. I mean, I don't think there's anything that I need to take there. And I think, you value having like your 3 quarterbacks and everything. So I'm not going to look there. I mean, I'm not trying to get like your top 2 running backs, CMC or Walker. Okay, you do have Zach Moss in this league. I forgot that.
I did acquire. I got rid of Burke somehow, and I did get Zach Moss.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you definitely killed that deal. So okay. But yeah, I mean, Moss probably has more value to you, so I'm probably not looking there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. And like again, Charbonnet has more value to me because I have K9, so it's like the running backs. There's really no scenario there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you already traded me Hopkins. He's more valuable to my team.
Yeah, and then I traded you Pittman. I got Waddle back, and then I ended up trading Waddle for Flowers. But
exactly.
But you got the stack with Richardson.
Stack with AR. I love Pittman.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to look there. So I mean, we're probably looking at a future pick then to add to this. Yeah. So let's see what draft picks you have here.
Yeah.
All right.
Not much this year.
Not too much this year.
First.
Yeah. So you got the 306 this year and the 402. If I can get this to work here. Okay, and then 25, you got your first as well as a 4th.
Oh, yeah, I do have the 401 basically locked in next year as well.
Oh, okay, is that
that's Coda's the guy
that
gave me Tyreek in. What's it called?
Gotcha.
He's got the torn down.
Okay, so you basically have the 401 and 25 if I'm interested in that at all. And then in 26, you got your first, second, and your 4th.
Okay.
So, all right, let me think here. I mean, of course, I'd love to get a first thrown in here. I mean, like, what do I have to kick back to get a first in here?
I don't know. The 25 first is obviously like that would be the one that I would move.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Just throw it in there. Let's
I mean, is there anything that makes sense on my side that you'd want added to the deal?
I just remembered. We got to throw Browning in right now.
Oh gosh. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Hey,
throw
if you're
Browning in, not for
if
the first.
hey, if I'm getting a 25 first on top of everything else, I'll happily throw Jake Browning into the deal
before I forget,
handcuff to Burrow. Yeah, good call.
We got to get Browning in there.
But I'm glad you thought of that because that's yeah. But I'm glad you brought up Browning because that's a perfect example of a guy that I can move off of and try to clear some roster room. And he has value to you because you have Joe Burrow. And of course, with, especially after how he got injured last year, I'm sure you value having that insurance on your roster. So I'm happy to throw Browning into the deal here.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, he, as an NFL quarterback, who knows? But he's some good insurance as on my team.
Yeah. All right. So we got
I'll have to work on getting Joe Flacco as well. But man, this is where it gets difficult. I don't know, like what are like? Now I'm already seeing like if we think we were close. I'm pretty confident to say that unless stuff gets crazy, like we do know that this is basically at worst like a 109. Like my first. Like in that range. Keep scrolling on your team here.
Wait, you're 25 first? I mean, at worst, isn't it the 112 that, you win the championship? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm saying, if I got the first round bye and, lost both games, I'm really unfortunate.
Yeah, I'd say that's
basically, the only way that...
I would say that's more best case scenario.
At worst. Best case for you, yes.
Yeah, best case for me, yeah.
Yes, worst case is...
Oh, I see. From your perspective, yeah, that's the worst it ends up being. Yeah, so in terms of, you're assessing the risk of trading that away, yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, your roster's pretty loaded, so yeah, I'm definitely not expecting that to be any better than the 109, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Keep scrolling on your team here. Okay. I'm just trying to see who on here even makes sense to add behind that. Like, the thing is with Mostert is I don't own a chain. If I did, I'd be interested, but adding first, getting Mostert, who could make, obviously, based off last year, he got extended and stuff. He might make my roster on some lineups or on some weeks, but I'm also just as comfortable throwing Zach Moss or whatever in there,
right,
in the mix.
Yeah, I think maybe if you didn't have Zach Moss, you'd value having that third running back a little more. Or something. Yeah,
I have handcuffs for both my top two running backs too. So it's
so you're pretty good at running back because I mean you're not like a big running back guy in the first place where you need to have some loaded running back room. So you're perfectly comfortable, I'm sure, with where you're at with your running back room.
Yeah, exactly. I mean but the thing is that here's the other scenario. I know that Cook is a very hard player to get, to get a first for. I personally would not pay a first for him myself, but I love using him in place of something in the semblance of a first of someone's head. We put him in that that Laporta deal, and again, I don't know what your plan, but if we felt like we were close before, I wouldn't pay a first for Cook myself. If we add a Cook, then again, I'm comfortable with my running back room, but he's more of just, I don't even know what I'd do. Probably try to flip him or something, or just insurance if he's scoring points.
I appreciate what you're saying. You wouldn't pay a first for Cook, but essentially you're not, essentially you're giving me the difference between Cook and a first. There's a gap there, and you're basically adding that gap to the deal to try to, if you agree to it, to try to potentially entice me to accept this trade deal and give you Jefferson.
Yeah, the reason too that I am fine with getting Cook is because the whole reason I'm holding on to this 2025 first is to buy a running back out of absolute sheer desperation.
Okay.
Because that's the only pick I have to you know what I mean. I could get a pretty good running back for that just given the market. So getting Cook back makes sense because then I have kind of that extra guy.
Right.
Even though I felt pretty good already. I don't know. What do you think here? This. What do you think?
I think it's a pretty good package here. I mean, I would say with if I'm just getting Puka and Addison, it's a little borderline. Like I think it's a solid deal. I think I would have to like think about it a little bit and decide like, okay, what do I want to do? But if I'm able to cash out on James Cook and essentially like get a first added to the deal, because I would value that first, a little more than James Cook for sure. That could put it over the top for me. I would say this is a pretty solid offer here before the NFL draft, because there's always that risk that the team drafts a running back and then it becomes more of a committee or like whatever. So, I certainly don't mind getting off Cook right now. I could always use that 25 first to buy a running back later if I realize that I'm a contender early in the season. And I can certainly get by with Raheem Mostert as my RB2. So I actually think that makes a lot of sense for me. So I guess my question to you is, are you offering me this trade right now? We've been kind of finagling this. So is this an official offer here?
Yeah, we might have to throw Kendrick Bourne in this deal. I'll offer it with Kendrick Bourne in this deal. I think you're accomplishing exactly what you want. You get 3. You kind of split them up into 3 / get rid of your Cook, change him into whatever the first or Addison.
Yeah, I wouldn't let Kendrick Bourne stop a deal if that was needed to push it through for sure.
No, hey, he might make my lineup. I don't know. So I'll throw Bourne in there. I'll take a roster spot off of you, and I'll cut someone. I'll cut Tyler Scott. You can fight for him in unless you want it, Tyler Scott or something right now. I think he's a wide receiver.
I mean, you would just cut him.
We scroll up to my running backs there again.
Yeah.
I gotta see. Oh no, I probably wouldn't cut him. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't really need anyone added. I mean, if you want to choose who you would cut now and throw him in, I mean, we can. But like, it's probably not. I mean, it's probably not that critical.
Nah, it would probably be Josh Kelly.
Josh Kelly, yeah. I don't really care about Josh Kelly.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think I'm good with my side. I normally like to look at my team. You got to give me 1 second.
Okay, go ahead. Do what you need to do, because I mean, this is a real deal here. I mean, we're not just doing this for the video or whatever. Yeah. So
I love to visualize my team after post trade.
Yeah.
And basically see what we're rocking with.
Yeah.
I'm losing Puka. Yeah, adding Jefferson in there.
Yeah, I think
bench. I think we got enough depth to do this. I think we if as long as you're good with it, I think we got a deal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to look on keep trade cut, because we were talking about that recently. I think sometimes it can kind of become a crutch and kind of cloud your idea of like what's a good deal or not. I think it's just more important to go based on your own values and what makes sense for your team and your league, and the format of that and the scoring and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not even going to look on keep trade cut and see if it tells me whether it's a good deal or a bad deal or even or whatever.
I don't even know what it would say based off how it values like a Puka or something. But
so I mean, let me break this down for myself. So I mean, Jake Browning and Kendrick Bourne are basically throw-ins. So like for the purpose of like evaluating whether this deal makes sense for me, I can just kind of like take those guys out. So for me, they're throw-ins. So for me, I'm basically trading away Justin Jefferson and James Cook, getting back Puka Nacua, Jordan Addison, and a 25 first. So, I mean, I'd say Justin Jefferson's, worth about 3 firsts, give or take. And I would say James Cook is worth a little less than a first, because I own him in another league that we're in, the Blood, Sweat, and Beers league that we were talking about earlier. And I couldn't get a first for him to save my life. You know what I mean? At least not this time of year. I bet in season, maybe an owner that's desperate for a running back, if he's smashing early in the season, I'm sure I could get a first then. I just couldn't get it now. So I think this works. So we're both good with the deal then?
Yeah, let's send it through. Let's make a block.
All right, here we go. Live on the episode here. I am clicking next. So we got Addison Puka on the 25 first in exchange for Justin Jefferson, James Cook, Jake Browning, and Kendrick Bourne. And we will click send trade. Okay, so I guess that was the proposal. Okay, so it's going to you
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess you'll just have to hit accept on your phone, but we can see it
There we
through
go.
going through in the
It's
league
been
chat
done.
here.
It's been done.
It's been done. You hit accept.
I think so. There we go. It should come through if
Okay,
you
I'm,
if
I'm
you
gonna I'm gonna
refresh.
I'm gonna click refresh here and let's see if we got a completed offer here.
Now I gotta throw the Thanos meme on here, of course, because when you get Justin Jefferson on your team,
Oh, okay.
you have to throw the Infinity Stone
I gotcha.
gif on there.
I love it. Yeah. All right. So we got a completed deal here. Here it is. So yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what the reactions are in the league chat. I'm sure.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure our co-host
That's
Andrew is going to be pretty envious here because I know he had his eye on Jefferson, but hey, he wasn't able to make
that's
this
true.
episode. So I'm sorry, Andrew, but you snooze, you
Yeah,
lose.
no, exactly. You gotta be. Screw those parents-in-law. You gotta be on here grinding for Justin Jefferson. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad we could get a deal done. It doesn't feel like I think I don't know. Maybe you almost feel a little bit better just given the scenario of your team.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good to get Justin Jefferson. I got off major piece in our
Right.
roster, but knowing it is Justin Jefferson, unless he dies in a car crash, I feel pretty
Yeah.
safe
Yeah.
on his value.
Hopefully, he doesn't have some kind of Rasheed Rice incident or anything coming up. But yeah.
You know what? Yeah, and I got rid of the guy that rips around in his Lambo at 150 in Addison. So
Oh, okay.
maybe I'm dumping off that risk.
Yeah,
to you,
you're
but
getting off some of that automobile risk there. Yeah.